See, I am a byproduct of Indian television. I did 10 years of television. It does add a little bit of pressure, and I think that pressure is good. I individually tend to perform better under pressure.
Welcome to PeepingMoon.com. I'm Rashita, Sahni, and today joining me for a super interesting and fun conversation is Vikrant Massey, who's, I'm sure, all set to impress us all like always in Love Hostel. Hi, Vikrant. How have you been?
Hi, Rashita. Thank you for this lovely introduction. Thank you.
You're most welcome.
I've been good. I've been okay. God's been kind, safe and sound.
Yeah. Great. I have to start this interview by asking this question straight to you. How did you get associated with Love Hostel? Because the name itself sounds very interesting. You want to know more about it. And the synopsis also that I read, the first looks that I saw, everything kind of, wants you to know more about it. So what was your reaction when you first came across it?
I've had the good fortune of working with Drishyam films before. I did a film called Ram Prasad Ki Tervi with them last year. It released last year. Yeah. And Raghav Gupta, who looks after Drishyam, he just reached out to me. He's a dear friend. He told me, "Yaar, ek script hai, and I just want you to go through it." And I am definitely making it somewhere down the line, maybe in a few months. But I thought I'll reach out to you. You tell me, what do you think of it? Yeah. And when I read the script, it only took me, I think, 5 to 6 hours to call him back and tell him, you know what, I am doing this film. It's one of the most gritty, it's one of the most challenging scripts that I've read as an actor. And besides just identifying the challenges for my part, I think I felt very strongly that it is a story that needs to be made. It is a film that needs to go out to people, entertain them, of course. But also at the same time engage and intrigue them. I think I was on board in the first 5-6 hours after reading only. It was the quickest ever turnaround I've ever had for any script. I'm really glad, and Shanker sir was, of course, associated with the project because he'd written the film. Yeah. And I wanted to work with him. I had seen Gurgaon. I was completely bowled over by what he'd done back then. Correct, yeah. Of course, we all know of Shanker, Raman, the director of photography. He's done some of the most incredible films in our archives. And when I got to meet him, when we sat down, my first meeting with him was scheduled to be for 2 hours, but we ended up sitting for 7 hours. And that was reflective of the fact that, yes, there could be a chemistry between the two of us. There could be a teamwork between the two of us. And yeah, here we are promoting the film, ready for release on the 25th of Feb on Z5. Let's see.
Fantastic. And Vikrant, I must say this, after Ginny Wed Sunny and Hiseen Dilruba, Chauda Fere, it has all shown you in a romantic angle, but every role of yours has been very different. I can't even say that maybe even one aspect of your character was similar to the other. I am hoping the same from Love Hostel. Now, can we call you the romantic boy of Bollywood and, the hero of romance?
Yeah, you can. I wouldn't mind that. I really wouldn't mind that if you do that. That sort of makes me feel good. But I think it's still too early. As an actor, I really want to tap into different areas, challenge myself. I completely despise complacency. Especially when you're shooting nearly 10 months a year, when you're doing 4 films a year, you tend to sort of slack. You tend to get lazy. It's bound to happen when you're nearly shooting 250 days in a year. Yeah. So I really want to sort of keep reviving, myself, keep challenging myself as an actor. And probably that's one of the reasons why, if at all you see most of the films largely based in a similar genre, but yet different, is probably because of that outlook.
Okay, great. And also, as you mentioned, Love Hostel has this really gripping storyline. And when I read also the synopsis, I thought the same way. Now, sometimes what happens is, even though the story is gripping, there is something that goes wrong maybe, or you are not thoroughly engaged in the film. Now, what do you, according to you, what is that one aspect of this film that you think will, keep the audiences at the edge of their seats and continuously hooked on to their screens?
I think this film in particular has a lot of elements to keep you engaged. We all know that right at the outset, it is a love story. It is about a couple that's on the run. But it is a lot more than that. It is not just a love story about a couple who's being chased by this one crazy, ruthless mercenary.
Yeah.
It's much more than that. If I can say, the character that Bobby Deol is playing in the film, in some ways is a metaphor for our own surroundings. It is definitely a thought-provoking film. It is something that will stir something within you. We are absolutely hopeful of that. We might land, might not land is subject to, the release of the film. But we are really hopeful that we end up, garnering these responses from people. And what is that one particular thing, if you ask me, that it is the courage of these characters, I think. It is the courage of these two people who are wanting to survive, wanting to be with each other, and who have all the rights to be with each other, irrespective of what the world around is trying to tell them or, sort of shoo them down. It is their courage that really stands out for me. And I hope that people can sort of resonate with the courage that these two characters have shown in the film. Yeah. But I would still not want to sort of bracket it or limit its possibilities. This film has a lot of possibilities, a lot of potential to be everything that you want it to be.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. And talking about the star cast, now we have really interesting 3 actors in it. You and Sanya both are known to be these new age actors who have been, coping up with the ever-changing cinema, and the scripts that both of you choose individually have been the talk of the town whenever it has come out. Talking about Bobby now, he is superstar of the 90s, and we have all watched him growing up. So now, of course, he made this huge comeback with Web and, did great there. Now we see him back in films as well. How was the situation on set? Was there like exchanges of, acting lessons or acting skills, or what was the conversations about?
With Sanya, of course, yes, we spent a lot of time on the sets. Sometimes it was a lot about the craft, a lot about, things in general, but somewhere down the line attached to what we were doing. She's one of those very rare, gifted actors who can change in an instant, right at the call of action, she can change in an instant. But she's someone who's highly sensitive. Her emotional quotient is extremely high. And when you are collaborating with someone like that, you tend to learn a lot of things in return. We all know, as you said, her choice of scripts or the kind of performances that she's consistently delivered over the years is praiseworthy. That goes without saying. But as a co-actor, she really pushed me to perform better. She challenged me as an actor to better myself, and I think that reflects in the film. She definitely is the best co-actor I've worked with, and she's really taught me a lot. With regards to Bobby sir, unfortunately, we did not get a lot of shooting time together. We were on the same set the same day, but we hardly shared common scenes together. But with Bobby sir, I think it was a completely different experience altogether, because I very vividly remember the first day that Bobby sir, checked into the hotel. Sanya and I were already there. We were also just sort of getting comfortable. And when we knew that, he's here and he's living right next to us, and he invited us, both of us to his room for a cup of coffee. Both of us went there, and we were just standing there as fan kids, and we were just looking at him like, oh my God, this is Bobby Deol. Or वो सो के उठे हुए थे. He just stepped out of his bedroom, and he was wearing shorts and t-shirt. He's like, hey, sit down guys. He made us feel so comfortable. तो पहले तो 15-20 मिनट तो we were like completely starstruck.
Yeah.
And Sanya and I, both of us, blurted out immediately, कि आपके इस गाने पे हमने इतना डांस किया, आपकी ये फिल्म पे हमने ये किया, आपकी ये फिल्म हमें ऐसी लगी, आपका ये कैरेक्टर हमें ऐसा लगा. So it was a total fangirl moment for the both of us. And and everybody knows about this thing, that he's a man with a child's heart, a child's soul. I think learned quite a bit about compassion, learned quite a bit about, he was warm enough, and I really, it's very commendable that he opened up about his own struggles and his own journey, about his own trials that he's gone through in life. And for a senior actor to open up so much and probably teach the younger kids about their own experiences is something which is invaluable, and I will always cherish that. Always cherish that. Yeah.
Fantastic. Agreed completely. And when a film, of course, is produced by a banner like Red Chillies, which is known to produce quality content and adding on to impactful cinema, there is also certain expectations that audience grows towards that project. Does that expectation now come across as reassurance, or does it put on some pressure on you?
This film is produced by Red Chillies and Drishyam.
Yeah, Drishyam.
Produced by both of them, and both of them, as you very rightly said, they definitely have. They are a benchmark for quality. They are both a benchmark for representing Indian cinema worldwide too. Drishyam has done that for the last 10 years. We've known that, and so has Red Chillies. It does add a little bit of pressure, and I think that pressure is good. I individually tend to perform better under pressure. But when you're in a professional setup as such, everybody knows their own responsibilities. The producers know their responsibilities, the actors know their responsibilities. Each and every member of the crew, which comprises of nearly 220, 230 people, they all know their responsibilities. So that pressure is something that probably brings out the best in me when I know that I've collaborated with the likes of Red Chillies and Drishyam. It definitely makes you pull up your socks and go out there with utmost focus and deliver what you've been hired for.
I'm sure. And of course, web releases, personally speaking, I think web releases have been a savior. We have all been hooked onto our screens watching several projects, which we could not do in the past 2 years by going out to the cinema halls. Having said that, as an actor, do you miss those chills and thrills of your big screen releases and having premieres, all of that?
Of course, that goes without saying. I think cinema viewing has been a very, very integral part of our society. Whether you go down south, whether you're up north, anywhere. So going to a theater with your family once a month, everyone is, stuffing themselves in the car, going there, really looking forward to have that butter popcorn and that samosa. And it's a community viewing, right? So with those 800 people who you don't know, but you all are feeling the same thing at the same time. You guys are responding to the same thing at the same time. And that experience cannot be substituted. Can never be substituted. I, as an individual, as a fan of cinema, I definitely do miss that. As an actor, I definitely do miss that. But such are the times. I think adaptability is key. One really needs to adapt with time. But I'm still hopeful that normalcy will resume soon. We will have theaters running in full capacity. We will have the footfalls again. And we cannot take that away from our culture. Watching a movie in a theater is something that has been a staple of our life. And I'm really looking forward to that. But having said that, you are absolutely right that today we have far more opportunities to consume content. Our consumption patterns have changed. Statistically speaking, most of the content that people are consuming is in that little thing called a mobile phone. Aaj mobile phone pe aadmi baith ke sari cheezein dekh raha hai. So the idea is to engage. The idea is to sort of, unfortunately, in these times of very little or short attention span, you really have to pull up your socks and go out there and grab people's attention, literally, almost, sort of just shake them up. But these are challenges that probably bring out the best in me. And I'm really, really looking forward to Love Hostel. I'm also looking forward to the rest of the films that are out. Looking forward to, reach out to the world at large. Today, we are not making community or society specific, community centric films. We are making films which are far more universal in nature. Like, for example, with a platform like Z5, you are reaching out to more than 190 countries.
Definitely.
And these opportunities were not available to us maybe 5 years from now. So today we do have far more opportunities, and it also gives us an opportunity to showcase our own skill sets to the world at large. Having said that, we are catering to the world at large.
Correct.
So yeah, I think it's a great time. It's a great time to be associated with storytelling, any form of storytelling.
Agreed. Definitely. And of course, talking about having theatrical releases versus web releases, now this has been a debate for so long, but we know it's not either or. They can, of course, coexist, like TV and cinema. So, but as an actor, did you ever take that box office pressure and being judged by the Friday when your films released in theaters?
See, I am a byproduct of Indian television. I did 10 years of television. And when I started off in cinema, I was still, rather, I'm still finding my own footing. There's still a long way to go. I have never paid attention to all these things. These are unwanted pressures that I really do not want to take. What is my box office collection is secondary for me. The quality of my film is primary for me. How engaging my film is, how does it resonate with the people? What archival value does my film have is far more important for me than the box office collection. And irrespective of the mediums, I've dabbled with almost everything right now. The focus remains the same. The idea remains the same, irrespective of the medium. Because I very firmly believe that if you are working on something which is worth your time and effort, it will find its own way. If it's a good film which is releasing in theaters, you will have footfall. If it's not a good film, it will not have a good footfall. Yeah. The idea is to, cater quality, and it continues to be that way.
Fantastic. Okay, great. Thank you so much, Vikrant, for joining in. Really looking forward to watching Love Hostel and getting into a, success interview with you soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to that too.
Yes, you're most welcome. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care. Stay safe. Take care.